Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a recap of my 2018 goals. There are about 2 months left of the year, so I thought it was perfect timing to do a little bit of a recap and get ready for 2019. As I have realised throughout this year that there are a few little things that I want to change to make achieving my goals next year even easier. So first up, I want to talk about from where I was at the beginning of 2018 to where I am now. If I'm being completely honest with myself, at the start of 2018, I didn't fully believe in myself, and I also wasn't very independent at all. I felt like I needed certain people in my life to be happy, and I didn't feel quite capable of doing things fully on my own and being completely happy with that. I also focused a lot on the negatives, and I mean a lot. I constantly complained about how unfair my life was in comparison to the people around me, and it really brought me down. I also remember focusing a lot about money and complaining about it. I found it unfair that as a 20-year-old I had to pay rent and pay all my bills and pay for literally everything myself, while people around me didn't have to do that. So even though I had a really good savings account, it was never enough to me, and it really brought me down. In fact, I remember being in tears about it several times. Whereas now, I have my own apartment, I'm actually happy and proud and excited to say that I pay for everything on my own and I'm not supported financially by anyone. That excites me, whereas at the beginning of the year, I hated that. I thought it was so unfair. Whereas now, I see it as I'm prepared for the future, I'm prepared for anything that comes my way because I know that I can support myself. Now I focus on where I want to go and not where I currently am. I also know that wherever I am, I can get to where I want to be, and I think that is such an amazing feeling to have. That even at my very lowest point, I know I can get out of it and get to a big, bright, happy future. Although it's nice to reflect and look back and be in the present moment, I do think it's very important to focus on where you want to go, because that's where bigger and better things are ahead. So I do still look back, obviously, and sit with where I currently am, but I do make sure to get out of that and then focus on where I want to go instead. Looking at the future, not knowing how it's going to turn out excites me, whereas before it was one of my biggest fears was my future, and that's because I was focusing on where I was, thinking I couldn't get out of it, and I was just unhappy. Definitely I still had the qualities of a positive person, and I was happy at times, but I think when it came to in my core, when I asked myself if I was happy where I wasn't. And of course that didn't mean I was depressed or miserable or anything. Like, I definitely had amazing days and everything in the beginning of the year. I just mean that when it came to believing and loving myself, I didn't love myself as much as I do now. And I'm still not at perfection. I've still got a long way to go. I think it is a lifelong journey. But to say that I'm miles different from how I was at the start of the year is very exciting to me. The areas that I improved on most in my life, looking at my goals, was personal growth and fitness. I read so many books, I watched so many videos and listened to so many podcasts and audiobooks, all based on personal growth, and so many of them have changed my perspective of things and just changed my life. I have gone through a lot this year, to say the least, and it has made me a lot more stronger mentally, emotionally, physically, everything. So I can safely say that personal growth has been an area this year that I have just exceeded in. And then the other area that I have done very well in is health and fitness. I made health and fitness a priority in my life, especially in the last 6 months. I would say I've lost a lot of weight in a very healthy, maintainable way. Like, my weight isn't bouncing, it's been very stable for several months now. I'm not too strict on what I eat and when I eat. Like, I listen to my body and I do what I want pretty much, but I'm just so much more aware of what's good for me and what's not, and I generally crave and choose the healthier option rather than the not so healthy option. I'm more hydrated, I make sure I'm, balanced in all levels and I'm not low on anything, and I'm focusing on sleeping better and everything like that, because I think to be emotionally strong, you also need to be physically strong. You know, you need to move your body. It's very good for you, and I personally feel so amazing after a workout, whether it's 20 minutes to 2 hours. I like to push myself, I like to focus on myself, and I just love to look after my body because this is all I've got, so I want to make sure it's at its best at all times. Now, for the area that I didn't improve that much on in my life, I had to think about for quite a while. I found it quite hard to come to a decision with this. This year, I put my goals into categories. So I put health and fitness under one, family and friends, relationships, personal growth, spirituality, everything like that. I had them in categories. And when I look at what I achieved the least in, it was relationships. And that is only because I'm not in a relationship, so it was hard to achieve certain goals I had not being in one. However, the reason why I found this quite difficult to say that this was the area I improved the least on was because although I didn't actually achieve any goals, I learned so much about myself and about relationships that it is ridiculous. I feel like that's one of the areas I learned the most about, even though I didn't actually achieve anything. I came out of a relationship this year, which really helped me to realize a lot of things about myself and about being with another person. I have watched countless videos and read several books and spoken to so many people and really worked on myself to realize all these things. So I find it kind of difficult to say that this is the area that I improved the least on, because I know for a fact in my next relationship I'm going to be a much better person because I am a better person and I feel better inside and I know more about the do's and don'ts of a relationship. I also know how important it is to focus on yourself in a relationship and not just focus on making the other person happy, because if you're not happy yourself, it's just not going to work. So no, I didn't actually tick off any goals for that category. However, I learned so much, which just excites me for the future to eventually tick those things off. Now, did my goals system work for me this year? So like I said before, I categorized my goals this year, and I feel like in some ways it was really great. I mean, I stuck with it throughout the whole year. Yes, there's 2 months left to go, but I'm not going to be changing anything up now. I've stuck with it and I do really like it. It's nice to have the categories and see what areas are in balance and what areas need work on. So in that sense, yes, it did work. However, I found it quite overwhelming because I just saw a page full of categories and I didn't really know where to start. So yeah, I really did like the categories, but I think for next year I will do quarterly goals rather than have a whole year overview, just because I didn't know what to focus on. It was a bit overwhelming. So I'll keep the categories but just break it up into 4 parts so I can focus on a certain amount of goals for every 3 months. I just think it will be less overwhelming and I'll have a better idea about what to focus on in those 3 months at a time, and then hopefully achieve more. My focus for next year will pretty much be the same, and that is to focus on all areas of my life. I want every area to be fulfilling and happy. So pretty much my focus for next year is just to be my happiest and greatest version, just like it was this year, but just even more so. Because now I have so much more knowledge to bring to next year to make it easier and better and stronger. I really want to listen to my body and mind and know what's going on around me to see what areas I'm lacking in, because I really want all areas of my life to be thriving. And in a year's time, I just want to be completely different to who I am now. Not because I'm not happy with who I am now. In fact, I'm very happy with who I am now. I just know I can always improve. And to see how much I've actually learned in the last year is incredible. So to think that in a year's time I could have so much more knowledge is so exciting to me. And now finally, I wanted to end the video by sharing a few of the things that I did complete this year. I don't want to share everything because some things are more personal than others, and I still have a few more things I would like to try and achieve before the end of the year, but here are a few things that I did accomplish that I would like to share. I went on a weekend meditation retreat. This was so life-changing and so amazing, and I would love to go on a week-long retreat one day. That would be amazing. But for me, I had to take a huge chunk of my time out and not work, which was difficult for me. And I really had to be happy and comfortable within myself. You know, you didn't talk for that weekend. it was very different to what I'm used to, and you had to switch off from everything. So I see that as a big goal that I have achieved. Okay, so my camera decided to go flat, so here we are again. I joined a business. I did not expect this at all. It was one of my goals to start something up or create something or join something, and I did. I joined a business called Arbonne, which is a beauty, health and wellness business, and I'm really loving it so far. I have booked tickets to go overseas to Denmark where my family is and have Christmas with them. This is something I knew I wanted to do from the moment I moved back to Australia. I knew after a year or so I would want to go back and have Christmas with them. So I haven't gone there yet, but in less than a month I will be there, which is very exciting. So far I have completed all my monthly challenges. If you don't know what that is, this year I have set myself a very different challenge every single month of the year for 30 days. And I have successfully completed all of them and actually implemented a lot of them into my daily life. Now obviously the year isn't completely over yet, but I know I'm not going to give up anytime soon, so of course I'm going to finish the last 2 and then probably give myself a whole nother set to do next year, because I've honestly loved it so much to give myself something to focus on every single day. I spent the day collecting rubbish at the beach, and that might sound like a bit of a strange goal to complete, but this year I really got into the low waste lifestyle and learnt a lot about the environment and the impact we have on it. And one of the things I wanted to do was to spend the day at the beach, which is one of my favourite places in the world, and pick up rubbish, because all the rubbish that's on the beach ends up in our ocean, which kills so many animals and destroys so many things. So it's shouldn't be there in the first place, but if other people aren't going to pick it up, then I will. And that definitely won't be the last time I do that, by the way. I plan on making it quite a regular thing. One of my goals this year was a goal that I have set every year of my life, basically saying I'm going to work out several times a week and be really fit and healthy, and I never ever did it. But this year I did it. I made it a huge priority in my life, and I am officially my fittest and healthiest version I have ever been. I have never felt this good within my body ever before. I feel so good when I look in the mirror. I'm just happy and comfortable with my body, and at the start of this year I wasn't. The other day I was looking on my hard drive for some photos for some blog posts, and naturally I'm just scrolling through photos, and I saw some photos of myself at the beach at the start of this year, and when I look at that, I'm not like disgusted by myself or anything, like, you know, it's all a journey, but when I look back at my body then to my body now, there is a massive difference. I do not like the look of my body at the start of the year in comparison to now, because when I look at it, I don't just see an unfit body, I see like myself how I was mentally. So I'm just so happy that I naturally work out at least 3 times a week, and this week I've worked out every single day, so it really does change, but for the most part I'm working out several times a week and I'm eating very healthy because it is a priority of mine. I learnt to believe in myself. Yes, it is a journey and it might change from time to time, but generally I believe I'm capable of doing anything I want to do. I haven't let my beliefs stop me from doing what I want to do, and I think that's such a nice relief, because before I always told myself I wasn't capable of doing certain things, and it always made me feel so different to everyone else who was going out and doing what they want to do. And now I'm finally doing that because I believe that I can. A big goal of mine that I've completed, but again is also a journey, is becoming very independent. So I moved out of home, I look after myself financially, I'm happy and comfortable with being on my own and doing things by myself. I don't need anyone to do things for me. There's nothing wrong with accepting help or wanting help, but I just know that I can do whatever I want on my own, and I can make decisions on my own. Oh gosh, I'm learning that one still, but I'm getting much better at making my own decisions and not needing someone else to direct me in life and tell me what to do, because I simply can't decide for myself. And the final goal that I will share today is that I reduced my waste a lot. So I have a lot of reusable items now. Like, I no longer buy plastic drink bottles and stuff like that. Like, I've had the one drink bottle all year and I've loved it. Same with reusable mugs. Like, I don't get takeaway plastic coffee cups anymore and stuff like that. So I've just purchased a lot of reusable items like metal straws that I have on me at all times, and the amount of attention I've gotten at parties or in town or something from girls and boys from seeing me use a reusable straw is ridiculous. So I've made some really good investments that will last me a lifetime and reduce the waste in our planet, which I'm very, very proud of. So yeah, I've achieved a lot of goals, but that of course isn't all of them, just some of the highlights, I guess, that I felt comfortable sharing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this has inspired you to write a whole bunch of goals that you want to achieve in 2019 and do a little bit of a recap on 2018 and see if you've achieved as much as you want to. And the year isn't over, there's still 2 months, you can still achieve so much if you really want to. So I just thought this would be a little bit of a boost of motivation or inspiration. I'm personally so passionate about it, as I think there's nothing more exciting or liberating than achieving things that you want to achieve and then looking back and just seeing how different and how much better your life is after achieving what it is you want to achieve. Anyways, I'll stop saying achieve and end the video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I would highly recommend you do so because I post new videos every single week. And also I've got a Facebook page where I post blog posts every week and photos and all my YouTube videos, so it's a bit of a community I'm trying to build up. And other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys. I look so tan, why can't I look like this always? This lighting's quite on point, isn't it? I literally look so tan. Oh man, so tan. I really need to go, don't I?